right? The only reason I believe that his life is at threat the most right now is because of the one thing that I just said, right? Is that the person at the top shouldn't be able to, it shouldn't depend upon being closest to the person at the top, bro. You get what I'm saying? Who's the person at the top, bro, in all the world right now, bro? Be honest, like in your expert opinion of just, manpower. The most powerfulest man on the planet right now, that has the power of the people, that has the power of the people with him. Okay, that's going to be the big one that has the majority. No, I'm just saying. No, I asked for one man. No, but I asked you to give me one man. Well, you could. That's right. Something against my prediction. Yeah, all right. Okay, all right. Now get that out of the way. All right. Okay, you don't want to wreck the prediction. All right. Well, that's good. I said that. No, I never said that. But honestly, you thought that's what I was saying. You see where I'm going here? You get what I mean? This is the factor of it. This is the factor. It's the illusion. That's the illusion of it. Everyone thinks that he's the most powerful man in the world. It's an illusion, as an illusion, that they think that he is the most powerful man in the world. That's the illusion of it. It's like people will look at other people that look at him like it's they're looking at an illusion. And that's where it's getting a bit real fucking clouded. Why humanity is so disjointed and ununited. And this is why I'm talking about Christ so much, and why I was mentioning all this whole thing about how he starts off about uniting the kingdom most of all. And the way that the world is in this fashion, it takes resemblance, right? So this murder trend, this is actually just the beginning, bro. This murder trend is just gonna spike. It's gonna actually start. Man, we're gonna be starting to see like assassinations more frequent, more often. Um, they're closing in on it. You get what I'm saying? But they're just gonna really just fucking intensify it in order to bring in the fast restrictions that they want to implement. You see, they got to try on the right vice to implement the right restrictions. You get what I'm saying? And it's also an employ. And when it comes down to that position of power and authority, America, of course, is looked at as the most powerful and sovereign nations, even ahead of Russia and also China. Um, they just seem superior. This is my own personal perspective. I see them as superior, inferior to America's superiority in their. One thing is mainly their resolve in their faithfulness. Yeah. Well, there you go. So we establish, like we do establish. See, so the world is leaning on one kingdom. You see where this is sort of like folding now. Like the vice president and the president both are standing up right now and speaking openly about Christianity, like nothing you've ever seen, bro. Like they speak like me, Nelly, and this is where I'm getting at. You see, when every man speaks like the oracle of God, and this is a thing, as an oracle in the things of the oracles of God, when all man speaks in the oracle of God, and this is where it comes to the Christian faith, and we hold it up and say, in the kingdom of God, we are united. That's the establishment. It's the whole thing. If you want to come under the profession, you have to be of the profession of the faith. You know what I mean? And knowing a bit of your proficiency of your profession is what makes the identity of your margin in your markers. You know what I mean? To your book and your reference of your um, employment of your approval of the knowledgeable relaying of your contextual compositions of them conceptions, preceptual disposition and deposition. But that's the thing. This is what's so good about it. You get where I'm going in the sense of the United Kingdom is this is a bar that every single man can measure. It's not an immeasurable bar. You know what I'm saying? People are classifying like the world's ununited as frenzy. It's unordered. It's in chaos. Darkness is a more greater power than light. Man, I'll just put these are just hyperstentials. I'm just talking hyperstentially of just some prefixtures and predentures of aptitudes and apathies of, of what I would say worldly leading. Oh, that's just a worldly leading narrative that I spoke. You know what I mean? That's what I call the worldly leading of them narratives. Okay? They're narratives within the world, is what I'm saying. But that is known as the worldly spirit. You see, that's when the Christian when we say we talk spiritually. Those who are spiritually mind the things of the spirit. Those who are carnal mind the things of the flesh. So when I'm even saying that, you were bringing it to a carnal definition. See, that's the difference of a faithful student and an unfaithful is we even know when it's of carnal definition instead of you know what I mean? You'll get this of the united facet of this learning one day, bro. When Jesus Christ Himself opens the book and reads it to the congregation as a father to the nations. Bro, it's his book of fatherhood to the nations. You just don't understand that, man. You know, like you've had it your whole time, and the father actually comes up and reads it to you like a mad little story where in an absolute meld and peace that the Lord just read us the book that we've been reading our whole lives, but it's coming from Him now. Can you just imagine that? You know what I mean? You know that that's what the Garden of Eden is in God, in that precepts of eating of His fruit and dwelling of His fruits. But in the things of the world, it's of a different disposition. It's not of the fruits, it's of the shedding of the leaves. That's what is the difference of the fixtures of the world and the fixtures of the heaven. In these things that come back to the relationship of Eden and the autonomy and anatomy of the spirit and soul and body. It's about the heart and the soul and the love, the hope, and the faith that they can come to a hyperextension and a realignment of facets and prefixes of the people. It changes them through consent, through purity of consent, through the addressing of illiterature. You see, you understand these things later on when the consent is formalized. But as I said, just knowing this consent that I talk of, there's one consent and then there's a pure consent. One consent is of many, but purity is of few. You see, it's in again, pure are of many as well, and that is what we say in the kingdom of God. We are united, but they're just a few things, just to conceptualize. It's the Father. He's the Father reading you the book, Jim. Let Him read it to you. Don't read it to Him. You get what I'm saying? You let the Father start reading it to you, bro, and then you'll actually see something. You know, it's just because of what you said. You said the Sumerians wrote it, and I can't agree with that, bro. That's what I really. No, that's not the United Kingdom, bro. That's the spirit of the world, bro. Nah, that's the spirit of the world I speak of. That's what I'm saying. It's the scales over the eyes of their own conceptions, and that's what I will go into it. No, no, no. I'm not. It's not that. It's addressing. It's addressing your unlearnedness. Because I'm your friend, and I want you to be burning in the elements, just as we are, and you understand that as well. When you're not burning in the elements of your cursed things, but burning in the elements of blessing in God. That's what I'm getting at, bro. Then when you're burning in the elements of the things of the blessing of God, all things are united. When you still burn in the elements and you still consider accursed things like what you say, Sumerians fucking read the Bible. That's the most accursed atrocity that would ever come across my 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 understanding of my master's book. You know what I'm saying? I've got to look after my book. It's my book, my master's book. I'm not going to let nobody smear my master's book, bro. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's my master's book. What? Who are you to tell my to tell my master to destroy my masters? Well, he's my master, and you said something about my master's book. You said something about my master's book, so of course. Yeah, well, your consciousness is a bit like easy to see in the darkness with the light of my master's book, bro. You know, I bet you, it's a lot more than what you would ever even imagine, man. I bet you just couldn't even imagine, bro. Me and Tone know things of nakedness, bro. I'll let you go into this, bro, and you don't want to even start going there with people because it's just unclean, man. You don't want to go into it, and we'll just go beyond. You know what I mean, bro? I can tell you out and in, Jim. I'll go beyond, bro. You know what I mean? Like you just don't even understand me. Did you understand that one then, Tone? That's where this is the point I'm getting. This is the point that I'm making. We understand. You see, we understand because we were of the learning, bro. See, the learning that everyone can have. The one book that wrote all other books. Without it, it's just you can't classify anyone being learned unless they've read it. You get what I'm saying? That's a true fact. Is that not true to say? How can you say that you're learned if you don't read the one book that made all other books? Like, come on. It's the most published and read book in the entire world. How isn't it the book that makes all other books? That's the one fact. It's the most read and published book in the entire fucking world, still to this day. How can you be not learned if you don't read it? No, that's your excuse for saying it's divided and not saying that it is united and reading it properly. There's a fact. That's all I'm saying. I'm learned. And when you're learned, it's like this, Jim, you know? It is a look down because the things are come up hither. And you just haven't come up as far as I went, bro. You still don't even know that the Bible is the one book. That's what I'm saying, bro. The Bible is the one book. It always is. You can't be learned unless you read it.